Hello, my cute white lilies. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing well. Let's get started the next chapter of Two Souls Written in Scars. Just as Akshar was running into the mansion, he saw Tishvika rushing down the stairs. She was coming down very fast. Seeing her, Akshar immediately said, "Careful!" But before he could say anything more to make her steady herself, she had already reached the bottom. Seeing Akshar standing in front of her, fear deepened on her face. She had just witnessed him kill two men with her own eyes. She was breathing heavily and clearly wanted to run away from the mansion. Meanwhile, Akshar's eyes were fixed only on Trishvika. She looked stunning in the red suit she was wearing. This was her first look after marriage. She had worn bangles on her hands, a Mangalsutra around her neck, and sindoor on her forehead. Trying to calm the racing beats of his heart, Akshar gently asked, "Are you okay?" Tishvika was extremely shaken at that moment. What she had seen was highly traumatizing, and as soon as she heard Akshar's voice, everything went dark before her eyes, and her head began spinning. But before she could fall, Akshar rushed forward and held her by the waist. Her body went limp in his arms. She had fainted. Just a few days ago, she had lost her child, and her mind wasn't ready to endure such stress. She hadn't fully recovered. So, whatever she had just seen in the garden through the window, her mind and body simply couldn't handle it. She collapsed. For a few moments, Akshar cursed himself and then picked her up in his arms. He carried her back into the room. Before leaving, he told Kainat to call the doctor. Kainat did as told, and shortly after, the doctor arrived and checked Tishvika. Turning to Akshar, the doctor said, "She fainted from the shock. She'll regain consciousness shortly. Just make sure she doesn't stress her mind too much. It's not good for her health, Mr. Purushottam." "Okay, doctor. I'll take care of it," Akshar replied, and the doctor left. Akshar then closed Tishvika's room door and headed downstairs to the hall where Bhargav was already waiting for him. As soon as Akshar arrived, Bhargav asked, "How is Bhabhi?" "She fainted from shock. The doctor said there's nothing to worry about. She'll be conscious in a little while," Akshar said, sitting on the sofa. Bhargav stayed silent for a moment, then spoke. "Akshar, you'll have to leave this mansion." I've been thinking the same," Akshar said thoughtfully. "Umang might try again, and I'm not alone anymore. Tishvi is with me. Nothing should happen to her." "It's way too dangerous here now," Bhargav said, "and we can't take our rivals lightly. You know what happened last time, right? I'm still paying the price for my carelessness." Seeing the regret in his eyes and his clenched fists, a soft expression came over Akshar's face. He placed his hand on Bhargav's hand and said, "Whatever happened with Sanj, we all are responsible for it. You can't blame yourself alone. But what happened to Sanj shouldn't happen to Bhabhi, Akshar," Bhargav explained. "It won't." Akshar looked into his eyes and said firmly, "If anyone even thinks about harming Trishvi, I'll take their life. But you can't stay in this mansion right now," Bhargav continued. "Why don't you just go back home? Auntie misses you so much." "But Dad," Akshar hesitated. "You know why I left that house." "It's been 3 years now," Bhargav explained. "I'm sure he'll understand you now. It's your home too. How will you long stay away from your own family?" Akshar thought for a while and then took a deep breath. "I'll decide by tomorrow morning what to do. Okay, as you see fit. If you don't want to go back there, I can arrange another place for you," Bhargav said. "But staying here is no longer safe." "Yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow," Akshar replied. Then something struck his mind and he asked, "Did you handle everything in the garden?" "Yes, I have told the guards. They have taken the bodies away," Bhargav informed him. "Great," Akshar said. Bhargav stood up and added, I've increased the security here now, but still, stay alert. Take care of yourself and Bhabhi. Okay. Akshay replied and Bhargav left. After Bhargav left, Akshay sat there for a long time. His mind was occupied with the memories of the day he was leaving Purushottam Nivas. It had been 2 months since Trishvika's marriage. Nirvanji, his father, wanted him to get married now. He had fixed his alliance with the daughter of his closest friend. He had always wanted Akshay to marry that girl because she matched their standards, and both families knew each other well. That girl had grown up right in front of their eyes. But Akshay had flatly refused. He never wanted to marry that girl. He had loved only one woman in his life, and that was Trishvika. Even though Trishvika was married to someone else, his love for her had never diminished. He had always belonged to just one person. When Akshay refused to accept Nirvanji's decision, Nirvanji gave him two choices: his family or Trishvika, who would never return to his life again. Akshay still remembered when Nirvanji, in anger, had asked him, Today you have to choose, Chiku. That girl or your family. If you choose that girl, I will throw you out of my life forever. You'll have to leave this house. If I have to marry someone else just to stay in this house, then I don't want to stay here. Akshay had replied. And what kind of relationship is this, Dad, where you don't even want to understand me? If you don't understand me, who else should I expect to understand? Dad, you are me or that girl, Akshay? Nirvanji had cut him off in anger. That girl. Every time, over everyone. Akshay had looked directly into his eyes and said. Nirvanji, turning his gaze away from Akshay's face, said, You can leave. This time, Akshay said nothing. He packed all his belongings and left Purushottam Nivas forever. Anant, Vidita, and Ragini ji tried their best to convince him that Nirvanji had spoken in anger and that it didn't mean he should really leave. But Akshay didn't listen to anyone and left the house. He came to this mansion and started living here. It had now been 3 years since he had moved in. Yes, sometimes he used to go to Purushottam Nivas to meet everyone, but for the past few months, he had even stopped going occasionally. But now he was thinking of going there again because Purushottam Nivas was the safest place for Trishvika at the moment. Right in the heart of city, completely surrounded by security. And perhaps right now, Trishvika needed some people she could talk to, share her feelings with, things she wasn't sharing with him. Obviously, she wasn't comfortable with him yet, and after what she had seen today, fear must have settled in her mind too. That's why it would be better to take her to Purushottam Nivas. Maybe being around people would help ease her fear. Meanwhile, in the room, Trishvika had regained consciousness, but the scene she had witnessed in the garden before fainting wouldn't leave her mind. Just a while ago, she had thought Akshay was a good man, that she had married someone decent. But the moment she saw him shoot those men in the garden, all her misconceptions shattered. How ruthlessly he had taken 2 lives. There wasn't even a wrinkle of remorse on his face. By now, Trishvika had at least understood that Akshay was a powerful man, but also dangerous. That attack on the mansion on the other night hadn't been something ordinary, and the way it was handled was impossible for any normal person to manage. If Akshay's force hadn't been so well trained, that night could have been everyone's last. But why had that attack happened in the first place? Why had Akshay killed those men today? What is his real identity? Who is he? What does he do? She was lost in these thoughts when suddenly her door opened. She saw Akshay entering the room. Seeing the right in front of her heart began to race again. Her breath was shallow with fear, and she stammered, You Stay away from me. Don't come near me. Stay far away. Akshay took a deep breath. He was angry at himself. He shouldn't have taken the risk of killing those two men inside the mansion, especially when he knew that Tishvika was there at that moment. Now he had no idea how to get rid of the fear inside her. Even though Tishvika kept telling him to stay away, Akshay moved toward the bed and tried to calm her down. Relax, he said. I'll never harm you. You're my wife. No, you killed them. You shot them. Tishvika cried, curling up at one corner of the bed. By now, Akshay had reached the bed. He gently grabbed her hand, pulled her toward him, and softly caressed her hair. You better get used to this now, Your Majesty, he said with a small smile. Tishvika's eyes widened in shock, partially because he had come so close, and partially at what he said. Slowly, her breath began to steady. She knew how dangerous the man holding her was, but strangely, she had no longer felt scared by his proximity. Thanks to his reassuring words and calm gestures, she was slowly relaxing. Somehow, she even began to trust him. Akshar continued stroking her hair gently. A few minutes later, when she seemed to calm down, he moved back. He brushed the hair away from her face and tucked it behind her ear. Now, get used to this bloodshed, he said softly. I'm your husband. You married me. You have full right over my life now, and this bloodshed is a part of it. Why? Tishvika asked, looking at him. Why did you kill them? Because they attacked the mansion that night, Akshay replied. They came for you, and I'll kill anyone who even looks at my wife with harm in their eyes. For a few moments, Tishvika fell silent after hearing his words. She didn't know what to say. Akshay noticed that the dinner Kainath had brought to her room a little while ago was untouched. He got up, took the plate, and returned with it. Holding out a spoon toward her, he said, I know you must have a lot of questions right now. You can ask them if you want. Tishvika first looked at his hands, then at his face. His expression was calm, composed, as if he was ready to explain everything. She remembered the time when she had been married to Divyansh. Once, during an investigation, the police had taken him away for questioning for a few hours. When he returned and she asked him about it, he had flatly refused to tell her anything. He had said that she shouldn't interfere in his official matters, nor did she need to know anything. Before eating from the spoon Akshar offered, Tishvika asked, Who were those people? Why did they attack the mansion? Why did they want to kill me? Akshar explained, They were men from my rivals. In the underworld, I have a rival, Umang, and those were his men. They found out a woman was in my house. They assumed you must be special and important to me, or else you wouldn't be living here. That's why they attacked you at the mansion. Underworld? You. Before Tishvika could complete her sentence, Akshar fed her a bite in the middle of it and then said, I am the head of a mafia organization called Alpha Organization. At the same time, in the business world, my company is named Ray Corporation. Mafia, Tishvika stammered. You're a mafia boss. Akshay replied, feeding her. Tishvika immediately blurted out, That means you do illegal things too. I married a criminal. You're a mafia. Our organization prevents crimes happening in the country, but illegally. Akshar explained. Crimes like what? Tishvika couldn't understand properly because in her mind, the mafia and the underworld were always about illegal activities. Akshar explained. Our organization stops international drugs that are being smuggled in large quantities into the country. We prevent international child trafficking and human trafficking. We deal with high-profile rape cases where the culprits escape justice due to their connections. We ensure they meet a painful end. We handle murder cases where victims don't get justice and kill such people illegally. In short, our organization cleans the filth of the country, but illegally. Does that even happen? Tishvika was shocked. Are there such organizations in the underworld too? Where there is negativity, there is also positivity. Even if less, it exists. Akshar said while feeding her the last bite. This is the first time I've heard something like this, Tishvika said. Otherwise, in movies and series, the underworld is always shown doing only dark and bad things. Yes, because according to our law, even killing a rapist or murderer is illegal. It's a crime, Akshar explained. That's why cinema and television have always portrayed the underworld in a negative light, not glorified it. Tishika responded. Are you done with your questions, or is it there something else you want to ask? Don't hesitate to ask anything. Akshar encouraged her. Yes, Trishvika stammered. Will will my life always be in danger now? My life, it's not normal anymore. As long as I'm here, your life will always be normal, Sparrow. Akshar said with a gentle smile, stroking her head. You don't need to be afraid. I'll never let anything happen to you. Just trust me. That reassuring touch from Akshar was enough for Trishvika. She simply nodded in agreement. Akshar picked up the empty plate and stood from the bed, saying, Tomorrow we are shifting from this mansion. It's dangerous here, so we are going to Purushottam Nivas, my parents' house. Okay. Tishvika replied, worry lines appearing on her forehead because until now, Akshar had never mentioned his family, and no one from his family had attended their wedding. So she had assumed he had no family. Now, this sudden shift was making her uneasy. Akshar noticed her troubled expression and said, There's nothing to worry about. I'm with you, okay? Tishvika nodded. Akshar always made her troubles disappear. Seeing him leave the room, she called out, Akshar. His steps stopped right at the door. Hearing her call his name gave him a strange joy. He turned around and said, Yes, do you need something? No. Tishvika looked away from him and said, You should have dinner too. It's really late. Hearing her say that, Akshar smiled slightly and said, Good night. Good night. Tishvika replied as she pulled the blanket over herself, and then Akshar also left her room.
Hey Lilies, your turn to shine. What stole your heart in this chapter and what didn't? What deserves a little extra love? Share your thoughts in below. I can't wait to hear your opinion. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this update with your favorite bookworms. Your support fuels our journey with this novel. Stay tuned for more twists and turns in Two Souls Written in Scars. Until then, may your dreams be filled with your favorite fictional characters. All yours, Satyanshi.